Hey everybody, welcome to our leadership club call this afternoon. We've got some cool things we're going to talk about today, and it's all about leadership. Number one, coming back from convention, I've been thinking a lot about the development of leadership and where we came from, and one of my big takeaways from convention was a very personal one, and it has to do with our story, and looking at, sometimes it's hard. We're always hardest on ourselves, right? And it's hardest to forgive ourselves. It's easier to forgive other people most of the time than it is to forgive ourselves. And don't worry, I've forgiven myself of everything. But but it's hard to look back sometimes and realize, have you ever talked to someone who they bounce from job to job and perhaps from relationship to relationship, and they're just trying to figure out what is wrong in my life, and from an outside perspective, you're like, what's the common denominator here? Like, you're the common denominator. But even from a very small scale, this is true. And so looking back at our lives 5+ years ago, I realized that all the things that we were trying to do and working harder and working smarter and all these things, what was the common denominator? I was the common denominator. I was the only thing that was static in my life. And so everybody's heard something along the lines of nothing changes if nothing changes. So as we want to build our business, as we want to improve and develop in whatever way it is, whether it's client acquisition or support or personal life issues, situations, we have to be the one that is willing to make intentional changes. So with that, I want you to think about that as we talk about some of the things that came out of convention. And this may sound like a little bit of damage control, and it is, because we are, the Smithson team is the fastest growing team in the entire company, and which is fun and exciting, but it's also confusing if you're on our team sometimes, because most of us, I think everybody here was at convention, and there's all kinds of new tools and new things presented, and now people are like, what do I do with these things? And how are we going to implement these things in our business? Well, number one, we are not jumping ship. Amber's had several conversations with Jeff Reynolds, who's over field support, and he got a little bit of stage time, mostly to tell us where we were going for lunch and things like that. But Amber's always asked him, Jeff, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this tool? Why are we doing this? And his response has always been the same. Said, Amber, your team has tremendous support and you have tremendous tools. He said, we, from the home office standpoint, have to develop things for more than half of the coaches in our company who have no support and no mentorship. So a lot of people have been asking us for the health coach and the client interview guide. We have those things, and we're not going to share them because ours are better. Okay. We're going to share them. We'll put them up there and stuff, but they're not as good as ours are. They're not as good as the current best thing out there is Sarah Flake and Wendy Hendry's Interested script that has been adapted, new questions and all these things. So it's important that we understand what we have is great. And and we're not jumping ship. So that goes for the interview guides, both the client interview guide and the coach's interview guide. Currently, if you guys aren't sure what is how to present, I mean, all of you guys on this Zoom this afternoon are leaders. We consider you leaders and developing and already great leaders. But when from stage, you hear a lot of presidentials and top field leaders talking about intentionality. What I think of in intentionality is where the big change came in my life and in our Amber and my life together is we no longer we try really hard not to be reactive in any of our decisions. We try to be proactive in all of our decisions, because no matter what we do, we know that any decision that we make is going to have an effect on a lot of people. So whatever you post on Facebook, anything that you start doing in your business, you've got to think, okay, what are the possible outcomes of this decision? And is that something that is going to take me in the direction that I want? We certainly don't want to stop creative flow in your personal businesses, but we've also seen a lot of things in our 5.5 years of coaching, and most people want to know that. So from your leadership standpoint, make sure that your teams understand that it's important for them to be creative in their businesses, but not to jump ship and start a brand new system or something like that, and to use you as their mentor and their mentorship line to help them make intentional decisions. Because, we've had Wendy Hendry always uses this as an example. A couple of years ago, she decided to spend $5,000 or whatever on a billboard instead of going to go global. And she tells everybody now that was a foolish decision. But we knew people who had done things like that before, and we could have told her what the outcomes were going to be. And sometimes people have to experience those things for themselves. But so just a few pieces that we got at convention and how we're going to use those things. First of all, stop, challenge, choose, challenge. We are not posturing it on our team, and this is why, for a couple of reasons. You guys were all there. There's no prizes in the next one. I don't care about prizes personally, but some people do, and they don't. They may be getting into that challenge thinking that there's prizes, but they're just not showing them. There's no prizes involved. They will be getting a daily email, just like in the past 12-week challenge. Granted, they will be shorter emails, but it's still a daily email. So most people aren't thinking when they go and sign up for a challenge like that, oh, I'm going to get a daily email. And the whole thing is based on subscription to that email. That daily email is not going to build a relationship of trust or coaching mentorship with you. All it's going to do is flood their email with spam, that pretty soon they're going to unsubscribe. We saw all the winners of the Stop, Challenge, Choose transformation, this last one at convention. But fewer than 500 of 21,000 people finished that challenge. And most of those were because the people unsubscribed, unknowing that if they unsubscribed, that automatically disqualified them. So the other reason is that with our challenge, our 6-week challenge starting, you will start signing up on August 15th, and the official challenge will start on September 15th. If you are pitching Stop, Challenge, Choose at the same time, people are going to get confused. The other thing with Stop, Challenge, Choose, and I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this yet, but we've already received 2 leads from the Stop Challenge Choose, and both of them already have other coaches. And so it's just not set up in a way that is really conducive to creating that coach client bond and relationship. It's just putting it out there to try to get them intrinsically motivated to read daily emails. Okay. That I don't know anybody that's intrinsically motivated to read their email all the time. So use your connections. Connections using, everybody does it differently, but most of our team does twice a month connections emails, but those are going to create the relationship between you and them, not them and Dr. Anderson. Because Dr. A, yeah, he's the teacher and it's his material, but the relationship is always with you as the coach. So make sure that we're maintaining that. Also, kind of in connection with that is the ebook. Just from past experience and knowing what this is going to be very careful with the ebook. The ebook, number one, read it yourself first. Don't be throwing it out there all over the place. The home office did some things that they didn't follow what we wanted them to do with it. They put it out there on all of the web pages and stuff. We wanted them to put it on I Choose Optimal Health or landing pages behind a form, so that when you respond to them, that then they will get the link for the ebook. Because again, this same thing with Stop Challenge Choose. If you fail to get their information, and we've got a few coaches on our team who have already put that out all over their Facebook. Hey, free ebook that just came out and stuff like that. They're not going to get people's information, and you're just going to lose them. So one of 2 things is going to happen, and we're not sure on the timetable yet. Either that ebook is going to be placed behind a form on our landing pages, for those of you who have individual landing pages, or we're going to work with the company starting right now to get all those ebook links taken off all the general websites and put behind a form on the I Choose Optimal Health. So, but make sure that use it as a layering piece. I wouldn't throw it out there, number one. It's got a lot of stuff about the 12-week challenge in it. Amber and I helped with editing and things like that, and they still didn't take out a lot of the stuff that we wanted taken out. But that's their prerogative. It's Dr. A, it's his book, it's his deal. So make sure you're using judgment on who you send it to. From our perspective, this is how we're going to approach it. Same thing with Discover Your Optimal Health. You've got to make sure, number one, that they're a reader, because it's 100 pages still. Even though it's a short 100-page read, make sure they're readers. The most important thing as people, like for new clients, that they're reading the first minimum of 8 pages of the Quick Start Guide before you're throwing them into an ebook. We have clients all the time that they don't even know 8 pages of material from the Quick Start Guide. So make sure they're knowing that so that they understand the program that they're on. Depending on if they're on 5 and 1, 4 and 2, maintenance, adapted program, whatever. Again, read it yourself. I think I covered everything there. So does anybody have anything they want to add so far? Sorry, I was trying to talk quick and get through all that junk.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is the ebook still going to be sent to all new clients when they place their first order?
As far as we know, and we're going to try to change that.
Okay.
We just don't want people to be confused once again. I don't know that we're going to be able to stop that. But so us having that knowledge that they are going to receive that, make sure that they are looking at their quick start guide first. And that they're really developing a knowledge of that before they necessarily get into the ebook, because if people don't have, it may sound like I'm coming from an extrinsic motivation standpoint, and I am, because if people don't see results and consistent results, it doesn't matter how intrinsically motivated they are, they're going to get frustrated, and that could potentially kill their intrinsic motivation. So you have to work with the two hand in hand. Any other questions or comments about the new tools?
I have a question about the support videos that they're going to be getting in that first week and then on. When did those come out, and what are your thoughts on those?
I love those. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about them 100% because I don't know exactly how they should be tied. So when they get their startup email, they're going to click on a link, and I don't know how well it's going to work yet. It's going to be based on client honesty, kind of, because they're going to click on it to respond that, hey, I'm starting tomorrow.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Is there something that we can send to our current clients that need like a restart?
I'm not sure on that, but I'll find out. But yeah, I think those are going to be great because it's just another layering piece. But once again, make sure that your teams understand that only about 15% of emails are actually opened. So they could, and that means clicking on it and actually opening up the email. They could see it in their viewer window and stuff, and it doesn't consider it open. So some people can view, depending on your whatever application you're using for email. Some viewers are more intuitive than others. So don't count, and not necessarily you guys, but your teams, don't count on every client watching those videos and stuff. It doesn't take the place of the client or the coach, I mean. So I've seen all of the videos, and they're good. So it's going to add just an extra piece for those people, especially people who, we all have the clients who love email or text, and they don't necessarily like to communicate over the phone. And some of those people are the type that they check email all the time. They check their electronic type stuff more so than talking on the phone. So those are the type of people I think that are going to really benefit from the videos.
Hey Jared, the next meltdown challenge, is it all built in? How? Because my understanding is that Dr. A is doing a meltdown challenge that starts September 15th. Are we all rolling out at the same time? Is every team kind of like the Kim versus our team? Are we going to have all I know Aaron has probably been working like super, super hard to like buy an entire server facility for this, but like what's in place for this not to blow up in our faces? Right.
So this is Dr. A has already put in $10,000 of his own money towards hardware, software, stuff like that, and more money is being put into it. And they're actually already working on 3.0, and they haven't even started 2.0 yet. So, yes, everybody who wants to be involved in it is going to be involved. But don't let that bother any of you guys, because we're still doing our own challenge. Everybody will be separate. It'll be based on global or presidential, actually team global members who want to split out and create their own. So the direction that we gave them was ideal numbers are between 100 and 200 coaches per challenge. So but whatever they do with it, we don't really care. We're only worried about you guys' business and our business, making sure that goes off without a hitch. So we will actually, because we created it, we've got some real benefits, and we're going to be calling on some of you guys. The company as a whole, they're going to have a cookie cutter challenge. Everything is going to be in place and stuff. We want all of our coaches to do the videos. We don't want coaches from the Miller organization or Kim's outside organization or anything. We want our coaches to be on the videos and to have the input. So our team is basically, we're doing our own thing, and we've got complete 100% control, where all the other coaches out there, they have zero control. They're just plugging into the cookie cutter system. So we're still going to evolve faster than everybody else. Any other questions about those things?
Hey, Jared, sorry, somebody just pinged me from Amanda's, because Amanda's out of town or she's got company or something. Can you talk a little bit about the changes to Be Slim? It's freaking, I think it's freaking some of our clients out, although it shouldn't. And people are a little confused on, it seems like if we start a client in July with the current Be Slim, what happens on the second order where they would get 4 free boxes? Do you have any insight on that?
So I haven't verified that for sure, but what I understand is that they're just grandfathered in so that their second order would appear as their first order, okay, if they had a July one. So their second would fall just within the guidelines. So it may be, I'm not saying that they'll get the free food necessarily, but what it may be is that they may carry over their points or their 10%, and they'll just get that deducted. So I love it because it keeps all food orders right around $300.
Okay.
Whereas for the last year, really, we've been posturing the whole Habits of Health system and everything, and our orders are $400 in the first order. And so based on those, go on Coach Connection, look at those new varieties. But if they order 20 boxes, they'll only pay for 3. They're not going to select 5 additional boxes. They're just going to get the $88 taken off.
Okay.
So it will be $299.99 or whatever with the workbook and Habits of Health. If they go the 15 boxes and Discover Your Optimal Health, it's like around $270, like $268 or something like that, $267. And they'll get 15 boxes, and then they'll be able to select 5 free boxes. And then the basic will be like I think it was the ebook or something like that, and that's like $257. And I hope that nobody's doing that one because they at least need Discover Your Optimal Health. But that will be 15 boxes, and they will get, then they'll select their 5 free boxes. So they're either, if they order the 15, it's going to be 5 free boxes. If they order the 20, they're just going to get the dollar amount deducted.
Hey, Jared.
Yes.
That video that Amber posted in the coaching corner totally explains the whole thing, and it's really, really good. They actually put it up in a graph form too, so you can compare side by side each of the programs. Totally answered all my questions. Really good video, and Amber posted it. So
okay, yeah, everybody look at that. I haven't watched that video yet.
Hey, Jared.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought was good is, you know how they're charging the $5 if it's less than $250. One thing that I'm telling my clients is because of the 5% discount they're getting, it'll pay for that. You know, that $5. It'll cover that. So I've just been telling them that's why one reason why they're giving that 5% discount is to cover that shipping for less than $250 for people that are in maintenance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. So which one is better on the chart? What did it say, Whitney? Which one's better?
Which package is better?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it just depends on your client. Because you can buy packages, or you can buy, pick your own your own. So just watch that video, and I think it'll just depend on your client and what your, you know, their finances, you know, what they're wanting.
Okay.
I'll tell you this from a company standpoint, and this came from Mike McDonald a couple years ago in a global meeting, is the current B Slim and the new B Slim, they work out almost dollar for dollar exactly the same. It's going to benefit those who are long-term recurring clients who are continuing to order in maintenance and getting that 10% discount. And the people who don't order on a consistent basis or only one-time orders, they're going to be the ones that are paying the higher dollars. They're being incentivized now for creating long-term optimal health habits of ordering on a consistent basis and so forth. But dollar for dollar, it comes out almost exactly the same. And they do this from a financial standpoint to where corporate, Take Shape for Life and MetaFast are coming out at a specific profit margin. And so they have to do that for the board of directors, for all of their all of the holders, stockholders and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm just I'll tell you this from experience over the last 5 years, that maybe 5% of clients will say anything about it and will have any concerns about it. But 95% of the people who are fussing about it are coaches, because they're freaked out that clients are going to freak out. So like we talk about all the time, it's all in posturing, and you posture to your clients as well as your coaches what the feeling is going to be about any new thing that comes out.
Hey, Jared.
Yeah.
Just back to Jill's question on the clients who sign up in July. We had a new client that signed up last night, so I had the same question. So I called Coach Services today, and the representative didn't actually know the answer to the question, so she put me on hold for like 10 minutes and did a research. And what she said is that if they sign up in July, they obviously get the 4 free boxes in July, and then as long as they place their next order by August 31st, they get the second 4 free boxes.
Yeah.
But if they don't place another order by August 31st, they'll just be kind of grandfathered over to the new rewards with the percentages and things like that. But they can still get their second month as long as they order by August 31st.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. So I'm glad that you were sure. Okay. And just any other things that anybody has before we wrap up?
Sorry, I'm questioning girl today. How are we posturing or not posturing or paying attention to or ignoring the sleep system?
Do with it what you want. I'm not going to personally posture everybody buy a $400 sleep kit. I'll tell you this, a quality quilt or a down comforter or something like that, unless you want all the down to be in one of the foot corners of your quilt in a week, you're going to pay $350 for a blanket. Things like that are high quality are going to be expensive. If people are tea drinkers or they have specific, my first approach is just to teach them about sleep. Through chapter 17, through just talking to them about de-stressing and having a routine. But we're not personally going to posture everybody go and pay $15 for a package of gum and things like that. So you use that how you will. I wouldn't use it as a big marketing tool. or anything like that. But it's just one of those things that, some clients that some of your clients are going to see it, and they're the type of people, they're like, hey, I got to try that. So just say, yeah, you know what? Fantastic. It does. I mean, if people drink the tea or whatever, some people are tea drinkers, some people aren't. If they like it, it's good. I had it. And I didn't necessarily, I'm not terribly stressed though. So I didn't notice that it put me to sleep any faster or made me sleep any more soundly. So, we're not posturing it as a major part. We're continuing business as usual. So going back to anybody who jumped on a little bit late, I'll end with the same things that I started. Leadership, when we talk about intentionality, is thinking through the outcome of your decisions and being proactive in your decisions rather than reactive. When you see someone posting something on Facebook and you're like, oh, that's kind of catchy and stuff, don't necessarily just share it or repost it or whatever. Think about what is going to happen if you repost that and the words that they use. There are a lot of other coaches throughout the company, and this is why we are sometimes we talk about being very selective on who you friend on Facebook, that you don't friend 1,000 coaches from different teams, because they may post things completely different than we train on our team, and they come across salesy. They're like constantly like, PM me if you want to get healthier, and they just have this big long list of things. And I know 100 people from 100 different companies that do the same kind of stuff, and all they're trying to do is sell their products. So being intentional, having intentionality, thinking through the outcomes before you make it a decision. Amber and I, we talk about a lot of things within the walls of our house and stuff, sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, before we make a decision on, okay, this is what we're going to even put on Facebook, because we know that it's going to affect a lot of people. And then remember that nothing changes if nothing changes. And this isn't necessarily for you guys, but you guys, all of you on this call have a lot of influence over a lot of people on your teams. And if they think that they can just, one thing that they're going to do, they're going to start posting on Stop Challenge Choose or the ebook or something like that, and that's going to change their entire business, they're mistaken. Because just posting something new, a new before and after picture or something like that, is not changing the way that they think, the way that they're acting, things like that. So make sure that your teams are understanding that, hey, we want creativity, but make sure that you're working through your mentorship so that we can execute that creativity optimally for the optimal results and stuff. So any last second ads before we end?
Hey, I have a quick question, Jared.
Yep.
So hold on, I gotta put it, well, that's okay. I kind of asked this to Amber, but I'm sort of confused about the submit to corporate statement, that was emphasized at convention.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of confusing, because like, are we still going to have like coach.power losers? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So one last thing on that. Coach.power losers does still exist. Amber and I have been talking about that a lot recently, because there's a handful of people that have access to making changes there and stuff. And it always seems like it will get organized and then it's a shambles a couple months later. Nobody can find anything. So over the last couple of days, we've been in the process. Amber's done a ton of work on it. Angela's done a ton of work. A couple of others of us are working on it. We are completely revamping all the files in our coaching groups. So you can take a look at it. Like there's only going to be about 10 files. For instance, one is going to be, and they're all Google Docs. So you can click on that one file and it says client acquisition. And it's going to have, it'll have the prezzies, it'll have all the step-by-step stuff. There's like, I don't know, 6 or 7 things on that one doc, all about client acquisition. So any new coach, when they're getting on the client acquisition bandwagon, it's like, okay, go in, look at this one file. They're not going to be jumping all over the place. And those will all be copied to all of the different coaching groups. Same thing for client support and coach acquisition and coach support. And then there's going to be like a general FAQs for clients that will be like, if you are dizzy, if you like all of the normal things, so that a new coach can go in there and say, okay, here's a list of things that clients have complained about or had questions about. They're going to have all that information on one doc. And if it's not on there, then we can get the answers and we'll put it on that doc. So we'll add to those things. But that's how we are going to move forward. We're probably not going to be, for people who are currently using coach.powerlosers, we're not going to tell them not to. But for new people, we are going to focus them all into the Facebook groups and use the training docs that are being organized and consolidated there. Did you have anything else to add to that, or did that help, Wendy? Okay, good. All right. Well, we love you all. We thank you for the incredible work that you guys do. We certainly couldn't help 4,000 plus people every month by ourselves. And we know that that this is the group that is going to continue to change the face of this company and change the face of this country. So keep doing what you're doing. Don't jump off the bandwagon. We're the fastest growing. If you don't feel like you're the fastest growing, get with your mentor and your mentorship team, and we'll push you along down the right path, and you'll get moving as fast as quickly as you'd like to. So thanks everybody. We love you, and we will be on here again next week.